You all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Oh, I don't have anything.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Oh, I thought I
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to the November 13th board meeting. The year is coming to a close here. Isn't that amazing? Okay, announcements. Clear Creek Conservancy. Dwayne Kelly's not here. He's out of town. Floyd Township Fire Department.
Jeff Brooks, Floyd Township Fire Department. We had 21 dispatch runs for the month, 8 public service calls, which really just is 8 smoke alarm checks for residents. 253 runs so far this year compared to 255 last year. I do want to thank everyone for coming out to the fire station on Halloween night. I enjoyed seeing all the goblins of all ages. The youngest was about 2, the oldest was 95. And she was dressed up as some Revolutionary War hero or something. They probably bought the clothes new. I'm asking the residents of Heritage Lake and Floyd Township to refrain from outdoor burning if at all possible, and not to throw burning cigarettes out of their car windows until we've had sufficient rain to kind of reduce the fire chances. If you need to burn, please be aware of your surroundings, especially dry surroundings. Keep fire size to a minimum. And please have a garden hose in close proximity, and we've been chasing a lot of brush fires around the county. One did turn into a house burned down. Do not hesitate to call the fire department. For any questions, please call the non-emergency number with 765-246-6192, and always call 911 if you do have an emergency.
Thanks, Jeff. Neighborhood Watch, Ken?
Neighborhood Watch co-sponsored the Trunk or Treat event, which was a fantastic turnout. I'd also like to thank Doug Scott for his assistance in traffic control. The Holiday Bazaar is this Saturday, 9 to 3 here at the clubhouse. Last I heard there was 40 plus booths. Also, the chili cook-off is back. It's going to be February 10th, 5 to 7. Looking for entries. Please call the office to register your chili. Thank you.
What date was that?
February 10th.
Damn, I'm going to be in Florida, sorry. Okay, HLCS, Rick Miller.
Nothing new, no report.
All right, thank you. Donna McKinley, Hellneck.
Hellneck. And I want to start out by saying, first of all, we had a very successful trunk or treat. And I want to thank 2 people, especially Ken. I cannot tell you how much it means to those kids to have you out there with that police car handing out little badges. They all had badges on. And it was so wonderful to have that extra layer of security knowing you're there. And I hope everybody understands just how much of your personal time you donate as well to this community, and we all appreciate it.
Thanks,
I also want to thank April Land and the Neighborhood Watch. They were marvelous, and April just jumped right in there and helped us a lot with the trunk or treat this year. And it's really fun to be coordinating this with other clubs, and I hope to do more of that in the future. And Larry and Rita go and survived the cold weather and from Neighborhood Watch, and she was frozen to death by the end of the evening. But we had over 400 children, so it was really quite a success, and I want to thank everybody for that. Harry Potter was the winning trunk. The Farmhouse came in 2nd place, and Ghostbusters came in 3rd place. And it was, like I said, everybody just had a great time. It was just a wonderful evening. The next thing we have going is Pictures with Santa Claus. That's going to be December 9th from 1 to 4 here at the clubhouse. Word on the street is that Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus will both be here. And I want to thank the Garden Club as well. They're also helping out with Pictures with Santa Claus. And they're going to provide little craft containers for the kids to take home and work on crafts. So they'll be downstairs distributing those to the kids after they have their pictures with Santa Claus. And they'll also, the kids they'll be able to take the crafts home. And I understand that the shelf on the elf will be back, and he was real pesky last year and kept moving around. The kids just absolutely couldn't believe how much he moved around, and that he was in different places when they came in and when they left. So I think we're looking forward to another one. There's also, the garden club is going to be hosting a giving tree, and we are encouraging people who bring their kids in to bring either a scarf, a head covering, or gloves to hang, and they have to be new, to hang on the giving tree. And then the garden club will donate that to needy children. So we're really looking forward to Pictures with Santa December 9th. And we're working on the Wine Fest. We'll have those dates next month for you.
Thanks, Donna. POA security, Ken?
Traffic stops 15, 2 fraud, 3 animal complaint, 2 warrant service, 2 911 hang up, 1 missing child. Child was located and reunited with the parents, 2 arrests, 1 trespassing, 1 traffic accident with injury, 1 traffic accident, property damage only, 1 suspicious person, 2 administrative calls, 1 medical assist, 1 domestic battery, 1 alarm, 1 disturbance, 5 lockouts, and 1 child custody issue, for a total of 43 calls.
Thanks. Garden Club, I don't see anybody here. Presentation of agenda. Everybody good with where we are? I'll take a motion to approve the October 9th board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We have 2 proxies tonight. I will be Summers proxy, and you will be Alyssa's proxy tonight,
yeah.
for all votes.
Both my votes.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the October 30th operations meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Treasurer's report, Dennis.
Okay, treasurer's report, we have total income for the month, $107,777. We had total expenses of $143,725 for a net loss for the month of $35,948. But that's, not to fret, that's a seasonal thing, it's the time of the year. On a year-to-date basis, we've got total revenue, total income of $1,713,536. Total expenses $1,545,521. So year-to-date, we've got net operating income of $168,014. On the balance sheet, we have short-term cash, $713,513. We've got CDs and money market investments of $210,054 for total cash $923,567. So all is looking well going into the home stretch of the year.
Thank you, Dennis. Okay, we'll move on to board committee reports. A&E, Dennis?
All right. The A&E committee over the last month approved the following projects. Non-waterfront fences, they approved 4 of them. 1 revised dock and outdoor kitchen. 1 new deck. 1 new home, which is down substantially from what we've been seeing. 1 lift revision. 1 new lift. A pergola. A porch. A detached garage and attached garage.
Thank you. Campgrounds, Rick, you have anything?
No report.
Okay, thank you. Cleanup, there's no report. Thanks, Jeff. Government Committee, Rick Olson.
Rick Olson, 51 Mill Springs. Wasn't a lot of meet at the commissioners meeting. I did go to a local road safety action plan meeting. Spoke with Jim Peck ahead of time, as I alluded to last week. We doesn't look like there's going to be any road repairs for Heritage Lake area this in 2024. So the action item is going to try to get with our district representative, Dave Berry, and see if, or just talk to him about it and go from there. So they are down. I did report about they don't have millings anymore, so they have to go with HMA, which is a better product, but it's costs about twice as much. So, and the county is still kind of they're fairly new to it, or they haven't done it for a long time maybe, so they're going to be working on that.
Could
So,
you
more to come.
tell the group what HMA stands for?
Oh, hot mix asphalt. So very similar to what they did on Heritage Drive.
Thank you.
Yep, sorry. So as far as the local road safety plan, that's a document that the county has to put together in order to get federal funding, certain kinds of federal funding, and it's mostly for safety repairs. The brunt of it was, they were talking about Manhattan Road on the southwest side of Greencastle and Airport Road on the southeast side of Greencastle. A lot of accidents and such on those roads. Heritage Lake was mentioned regarding expanding pedestrian access and safety. They do understand that. They said there was a lack of walkability in rural communities, specifically near Heritage Lake. And then they talked about, do we want to recommend retrofitting sidewalks at Heritage Lake or other locations? So basically, it's just a document. It doesn't mean that anything's going to happen from it, but they have to put this safety plan together for the federal funding. So that's just the first step. Another issue that was raised in the document was and I believe it, on County Road 725 between 600 North and 525 North, they talked about all the animal crashes, obviously deer. It has double the county average on that stretch of road for the whole county. So they talked about the possibility of putting animal warning signs and then also public information campaigns. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Just to add to the government, at this time, we've been at some of the commissioners' meetings, and we were informed, just for the record, so that the people in the community know, there is a, let me find that, so I don't blow it here. What's the name of that street that house is on? 700?
700 East.
700 East, you all go that way to Greencastle, you go around that curve, and you see that property that everybody knows about. There is a suit either going out this week or next week against that property, so, and that is something that Heritage Lake brought to their attention quite some time ago, and I just want you to know that I have been told by the legal people over at Greencastle that they're gonna pursue that. So that's good news for that area. Okay, thanks, Rick. Lake Committee, Rick Miller?
Yeah, nothing new.
Okay.
I have something.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just to report on our last meeting, which was October the 25th. We had a new guy, Mike Colarusso, that came, and we recognized Darcy Schaefer and Lisa Stafford as new members, having completed 3 times to our meeting. The balance for October for our treasurer's report was $27,083. We approved $2,000 for 10 new buoys for next year. We discussed a proposal from Aquatic Control regarding putting red air, and they came to us with a bill of about $5,800. Charlie Land did some research and found it for a much cheaper price, so he's going to handle that, and it's going to end up costing us about $4,000 for the same amount of red air that Aquatic Control wanted to give us. Motion was made by Charlie also to approve almost $800. We're going to replace all the buoys out here. They're for the area where the jet skis run. Ken Hoops was concerned that they're kind of a hard material, and if somebody really got thrown off on there and hit one of those things, they'd get hurt. So we're going to do some new ones out there. We approved four of the officers. Kent remains our chair. I remain the vice chair. Mary remains the treasurer, and my wife Deb remains the treasurer. So we've all got another term. Rick presented the changes to the Lake Rule book, and he'll talk about that a little later. And finally, a couple questions from the forum. Dan Teague had reported that the new bumpers at the marina were really nice, he liked them, but he asked if there might be cleats and poles at some point put in there. And I have notes here that I'm supposed to ask you that, Ken, so I'm asking you. And you're not making a commitment right now. Okay, and finally, I have to report that Lois Napier, who's been on the Lake Committee forever and has been a big supporter of the community, is moving away. She's put her house up for sale, and she is moving with her daughter over to Plainfield. So we're gonna miss Lois a lot. So that's a report for Lake.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Clean water, I don't see anybody here. Long-term planning, there's no minutes. Siltation, Dwayne Kelly's not here. And election, Jim Muhlenbach. Anything?
Okay. We're gonna have an election this year. We haven't for a couple of years. We have 4 people running. AJ and Nina are both going to rerun. Thank you. And we've got a Linda McFerrin and an Anthony Crossley has turned in their materials, and they've got their bios in. So we'll have 4 people to run for the 3 positions on the board. I got some information from the POA office today. I'll reach out to the new people, and we'll discuss a possible meet the candidates before we go away to Florida. And so that's kind of where we are. We have more people.
Thanks, Jim. Manager's report, Ken?
All right, bear with me, I'm gonna read this. I just typed this up today, so this is going out to you and the audience at viewing. A few days ago, there was controversy on social media regarding a violation that was mailed out. The board of directors have no involvement in sending out this property violation letter. I want to do my best I can to clear this up. When I was hired to manage Heritage Lake, part of the job was to support the existing committees. My first year in 2016, the cleanup committee tasked me with approximately 60 property violations to address in my first 2 weeks. I addressed them, and I have worked alongside with their efforts ever since. Once someone moves into the private community, you become contracted to follow and adhere to the private community rules and guidelines. Over my 8 years, there have been close to 500 letters mailed, including 85 this year. Most of these calls come from neighbors filing complaints. Over all of these letters, most people understand that the complaint is legit and they just resolve the violation without discussion, and we never hear anything further. While a few call with some grumbling and avoid talking about their concern, they simply want to point the finger at other neighbors instead. As I stated, over 8 years, we have fixed nearly 500 issues with an extreme high percentage of resolution. Those that call to grumble or ask for guidance, we always have worked together for a mutual resolution. Quite frankly, I have met a lot of nice people this way. To my knowledge, I can only think of 1 out of the 500 that was sent to the attorney because this resident has been an ongoing nuisance to the neighbors for years, and they want something done. And this is currently in their attorney's hands. When receiving a letter from this office, there is a standard cover letter along with the second page that demonstrates the concern. The cover letter was first introduced to our attorney, Scott Tanner, to review. He was pleased that the letter had a soft and pleasant approach, but that I was obligated to include a paragraph explaining the next step if they choose to ignore that concern. This process has been very effective to addressing the concerns when members call and file a complaint. I hear it all the time, complimenting how nice this community looks, and specifically over my tenure. This is only accomplished with your help and cooperation. I believe we have been doing something right. The spirit of this letter the spirit of that letter that was sent, as I stated within that letter, is to maintain the beauty of Heritage Lake as a clean community. While I understand receiving a letter asking someone to remove clutter, mow their grass, parish spray the algae off their home is not what anyone wants to receive. But I assure you, from the bottom of my heart, it is not to offend or embarrass anyone. In fact, as the letter states, that if you ever need more time, just call. For those of you that know me can vouch for the ones that don't know me, that I would bend over backwards to help out anyone. And that includes the employees that I have on staff, they would do the same thing. We have helped out so many more times than can be counted. As an example, when sending out someone a letter that their grass is too tall and needs cut, when they have called and advised that their mower is broken, we have assisted and mowed their grass for them. I could go on and on and on with stories like this of working together for the end of this resolution. I have raised my family at Heritage Lake and considered all of you as neighbors. If anything ever rubs you the wrong way, my door is always open to talk. As the last sentence on that cover letter states, it's important that we work together. Lastly, the Psalms Haven numbers lease agreement payment for the month of October was $5,408 versus prior year of $4,042. Year-to-date total is $75,091 versus last year at this time, $60,895 for an increase of $14,196 over this time last year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Okay, we have a guest tonight, Don Badalato, excuse me, I told you I'd ruin it. He is the county assessor, and we've asked him to come in and do some explaining. I'll just put it on your shoulders here and let you address the community.
My name is Don Badalato. I took over as the county assessor in January. There is a real informative video on YouTube. If you go to search Indiana Assessor Video, and then you click on Learn More About Your County Assessor, that's done by the state, and it explains what my office does. Indiana is a market value in use state. What that means is your value is assessed at what it would sell in an open market and a fair exchange in the open market. So if you have a home that sells for $300,000, that's really what the assessed value should be. However, it's almost impossible to come up to that amount using the software that we have. So most homes are actually underassessed. My office is responsible for 25,865 parcels. And each year we reassess 1/4 of that amount. And of that, we have to do each type of parcel also, residential, industrial, commercial, and so on. The plat office, ran by Robbie, they do all the land, not the values, but what the land is the boundaries for the properties, the land types, whether you're on the water, off the water, and so on. And then my office, I have data collectors that actually go out to each parcel, look to see if there's any changes. We measure buildings, we take pictures. We never go inside any of the buildings. My data collectors are instructed to knock first, leave a card on the door. If they don't get an answer, explain what they're there to do. They walk around the house, take pictures, measure, and then bring that data back to the office. When Heritage Lake was built in the 70s, they went ahead and did a plat of all the lots. What we're finding now, and let me back up a minute, I've been with the assessor's office for 8 years now. And there's been talk for as long as I've been there about redoing the property lines for all the parcels here at the lake. Because there's quite a few of them that are off. I wanted to make sure that we did it fairly and we did everybody all at once. So Robbie's in the process now of doing all the property, the boundary lines of every parcel. And next year in '24 is when we reassess the lake. So we'll do the reassessment and the property lines all at the same time to come up with the assessed value. Next year will be all the reassessment. That information will show up on your F11 in the spring of 2025. And it's those amounts that the auditor's office uses for your property taxes. So you're not going to be hit like right away. The majority of them, it looks like there's actually going to be a decrease in the land size, but there's some that they're considerably pretty far off. In other words, like houses that are built right on the property line and they're still parcel to the lake. And Robbie has some information on that she can show you. That's pretty much all I have. I know that there's been questions about land values not being even with the county. I went ahead and I actually printed up my property record card. I live in Greencastle. My parcel is 0.16 of an acre, and my land assessed value is $17,800. And I just went ahead and pulled two comparable lots, just at random. 441 Mill Springs, the parcel acreage is 0.32, which is almost double what I have. And the land value is only $16,800. And another one, 334 Mill Springs, calculated acreage is 0.35, and the land value is $18,000, so we're fair all throughout the county. And if you have any questions for me?
What's the percentage and difference between what the new figure is and the former figure? The percentage differences?
We don't know yet because,
I mean, based on the two that you're talking about, the value that you looked at is the current tax that you mentioned 16,000 for yours or something?
I was just comparing my parcel in Greencastle
Yeah.
and two of the parcels that are here at the lake.
Oh,
Because
okay.
a lot of people at the lake think that you're being overassessed, and I'm just letting you know that that's pretty much the average cost for the land for that side.
I got one more and then I'll be done. Most initiatives have a starting point and it starts with somebody. I mean, it just doesn't just fall on your desk. Can you tell me whose idea this initiative is?
I'll take responsibility for it. When people put their lots together and they want them on the same tax bill, I double check the lot sizing. And when I've been doing that and pulling the plats, the numbers don't match. So I don't know how they did it in the 70s when everything started, but I'm using the actual plats to figure out lot sizing on all the lots now.
Okay, but with that said, I'm talking about the software you said was not accurate or,
That's state.
so that the state's initiative, that they're doing that all over the state then?
They want us to be within, the way the assessor's office is we're supposed to be within 5% of assessed value to sale price.
Okay, good. Thanks. That answers my question, thanks.
Question. as a realtor, I have ready access to a lot of property tax information. And over the last week, I took the time to look at assessed values and market values of homes that have recently sold, and even homes that have sold a couple of years ago. I then did the same thing for homes in Greencastle, and in virtually all cases, there's just a huge delta between sold values or market values and assessed values. So I think what I'm hearing is that our assessed values are gonna go up, therefore our taxes are gonna go up. And if that's the case, I would assume the same thing will happen throughout Putnam County for Greencastle also?
If there's increases, it's across the board.
So let's say go 2 or 3 years down the road, when I look at homes, assessed values and sold values, say in Greencastle, they should be as close as they are here at Heritage Lake. The assessed values and the sold values.
Correct.
We're working on
Yeah,
it.
and
It's a
that-
work in progress,
Yeah,
because if nothing sells, we have nothing to compare it to.
right, yeah.
The,
I've just always seen, seldom have I seen assessed values real close to sold or market values. You know, and I've sold all over the state.
well, as you know, being here, you're in a prime location for commute to Indianapolis. People want to live at the lake. I mean, when I first moved here, I wanted to live here. And some of the homes are just selling for crazy figures.
Yeah.
And I can't even get them close to market value as far as the assessed value goes. So they're considerably lower than market value.
Yeah, I just, I would just like to, I just would like to be comfortable knowing that I don't mind paying more taxes because they increase the assessed value. I just want to make sure I'm paying my fair share and that Heritage Lake isn't getting theirs jacked up and the rest of the county is not.
No, it's even across the board.
So can
Good
I
answer.
jump in here to follow up with what your comment was? My question was, not only will we see comparable rates in Putnam County, but he just said all across the state. So when I look at Decatur County and Mare Lake and see what they're doing, they're gonna have to be the same as these, because I'm gonna check. In the same way with Henry County and all across the state, because you said just now, you told me it's a state initiative. I asked, whose initiative is this? You said it was a state.
The state is the one that actually makes the values for everything in the software.
Well, trust me, I'm gonna check the other counties. I
But
just
you
got
have to
off,
realize,
it's a state
tax,
initiative.
it is, but tax rates are based on the budgets of the county, and different counties will have different budgets. The assessed
assessment-
values might be the same,
We're
but the
talking,
tax rates won't be.
we're gonna talk about the assessment, and I'm gonna check again, and I'm going, this is a state initiative, I asked that. Who's the daddy of this assessing the values? And you told me it was the state. Okay, that's my argument.
Anybody else have a question?
I do. I'm utterly shocked with the potential impact of replatting our lots. I mean, the one example we had in advance of this meeting was Jefferson Valley with 664 parcels, and somebody told us 417 of them need to be corrected. That is huge.
That's what we're saying, we didn't know, nobody's ever took the time to double check it all, and that's what I'm doing now.
And so what you're saying, I think I'm hearing, is what we bought, what we mortgaged our homes on, was inaccurate. Is that a can of worms we can stand to even listen to?
I'm going by the recorded plats, making it match those.
Well, if you're changing recorded plats,
I'm not changing recorded plats, I'm going by the recorded plats.
okay,
The recorded plats are the lot size that were supposed to be used in the first place. And a lot of the problem was, all lakefront lots go to the water's edge. They haven't been assessed to the water's edge. And that's a big problem because we have a lot of houses over that platted lot line that they're using to the water's edge. They built their houses there and they've not been paying taxes on it.
Now, 417 need to be corrected in Jefferson Valley. There is not 417 lots on the water.
I'm not
In
saying they're all
Jefferson Valley.
waterfront lots.
Okay.
I'm saying some of them may even go down. I found some that the numbers just don't jive. It's like looking at something and saying, well, if it's 80 feet by 120, that's what it should be, and it's got some weird number in it.
Okay.
So I'm literally sitting at my desk all day looking at every lot, one by one, and lot sizing.
So if I bought a lot out at Heritage Lake, let's just say for instance in JV, and I'm gonna build a house, I'm gonna have that house surveyed. And I'm gonna have that house surveyed by, let's just say in this instance, the Putnam County Surveyor. And he comes out and surveys my lot. Is that survey gonna match the plat?
It should.
Well, I would venture,
Everyone I've got here with me does.
I would venture to say that we really have to go back to the surveyor, because if you look at how many, 49% of the permits last year were Heritage Lake, out of Putnam County, 49%. So that tells me there was a lot of building out here, and a lot of those buildings happened in Jefferson Valley. And if those surveys are now, you're finding now that those surveys are wrong according to the plats.
surveys aren't wrong. The surveys are right. It's just the numbers that were in the computer were wrong.
Okay, I'm missing the boat.
The numbers that they use to determine the assessed values are wrong.
Right.
Not
So
necessarily,
if somebody said,
not
like I said,
necessarily
my
surveys.
example was 80 by 120,
Yeah.
I might find one that said 95 by 120, and I'm thinking, where did the 95 come from?
Okay.
That one's gonna go down. Some of them are gonna go up, some are gonna go down.
Okay.
I'm literally going by the recorded plat that tells me what it should be, and that's what you're gonna be assessed on now.
Okay, so,
It's a clerical thing, if I'm
It's
not
just
understanding.
basically-
We're not actually moving lot lines, we're not changing
Yeah, we're
anybody's
not
actual
changing
piece of
anything.
dirt that they
We're
own.
just using what should have been done.
We're
in the
just
first
saying that
place.
somebody put
for the assessments, okay.
the wrong number in the wrong checking box.
Any other questions?
One more. So, do I understand you correctly? We have something like 1,600 homes out here. So, are you planning on inspecting inside and outside every one of those homes?
We don't do the inside of the homes. We just do outside square footage. We use other data, like with MyBore, when something sells, the realtor has a thing called MyBore, where we can actually look and see how many rooms, how many bathrooms in a house, and that's how we adjust what's inside the house. We do not go inside. Matter of fact, we've had people invite us in, and we do not go in.
Thank you.
So realistically, if I own a 10,000 square foot home, and you come out and assess my home, you're looking at the outside, you're measuring, and you're comparing the number of rooms I have with my bore and the number of rooms that are actually being sold. Now, I put in granite throughout the house. I brought all my tile from Italy and brought into that house. And when I sell my house, it sells for $2 million. Does that mean my assessment should be close to that?
Well, according to the way the state talks, I mean, that's what your home should be assessed at. But
I'm just asking the questions here because when this first came to our attention, I've moved 10 times, so I've sold 10 houses. I have never had the assessment of any one of those houses come close to the price I got for my home. Never. And I'm talking about counties not just in Indiana, but other states. So it was a surprise to me that the language was being used, we have to come closer to the sale price with our assessments. I just want to clear that up, that's all.
That's what Indiana's telling us to do. I don't know how we're going to do it, but
And-
that's what they're
I
telling
don't
us.
know either.
And you
Sounds like a
guys
class
know
action
better
suit
than me,
coming.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think even if they increase the assessed value of everybody's home, the budget is still the budget, so it's just gonna influence the multiplier that they use
That's right.
for the assessed value.
If
So it
everybody
doesn't
goes up,
necessarily
then your tax
mean,
rate will go down.
you know, if your home is assessed for twice as much than what you paid for it, doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna pay a ton more taxes.
No.
It's just gonna affect the multiplier ultimately.
Okay, this is clear as mud.
Can I,
Now,
Yay, government.
I invite anybody that wants to call me at the office. I can sit with people, I can talk to them on the phone, whatever they would like to do. I'll leave a stack of my cards here.
Okay,
I
perfect.
would like people to watch that video, it is very informative, because everybody thinks I'm the tax man, and I'm not. I am the assessor.
Do you have a question?
Don, I
Yes.
spoke with a gentleman Saturday night. Give me some direction to get that feedback to him. His home, if I understand it right, has got assessed on a pole barn
Okay?
and a boat ramp. And he lives in Patriots Landing and it's not on the water. And he's asked to get it removed and nothing happens. Can you give me some direction on how this gentleman takes care of that?
Have them call me, we'll
Okay.
look it up, and I'll find out what's going on with it.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? We're good? All right, thank you very much for coming in. We really appreciate it. Yeah. All right. We're gonna move into, we're going right through old business because we don't have any. And we're going to new business. First thing on the docket for our new business is it says on the agenda here, dock storage units. It's actually portable storage units. We have had one vote on the portable storage units. Could you read that for us, Dennis, so we can vote the second vote?
Okay, and I haven't had anybody approach me on it between the first vote and tonight. So it says, portable storage units are permitted to be placed on the driveway of a residence on a temporary basis, less than 6 months, for items from inside the house, provided the following items are completed properly. The homeowner will need to apply for a permit, $20 fee, see Rule 112, for application, timing, and process, and receive approval prior to placement. The permit application should include 1, a plot plan or drawing showing the proposed location of the storage unit and the location of the house and driveway. 2, the time that is being applied for. 3, the intended use of the unit. And 4, justification for the length of time being requested. If the unit is needed for a time longer than the original approved estimate, then the permitting process must be repeated, fee waived, as before.
We've had one vote on this. I assume we don't have any discussion. Is there any other discussion?
I move to accept the reading as read.
All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Electronic voting, Rick Miller.
Yeah, we've had more discussions, and we are moving forward, although we, expectations right now for electronic voting, we probably won't roll it out with the new year election of officers.
Okay.
Okay, but we are working to build the database and provide information to the general population to help people understand exactly what it can do, will do, and what it takes to make it work, which basically means we need a valid email address for everyone who lives here. And most people have one, so it's not going to be a hardship, and we'll have provisions for people who just can't or won't do that.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Just stepping back one time here, that I find that maybe, I found, and probably my fault, because I try to explain as I go, but like the portable storage units, we vote on that twice. We vote on it twice for a reason, so that we give the opportunity to the community to come up with a better reason to do it or not to do it that we didn't think of as a board. So it's kind of like we're giving everybody the information so that if somebody out there is smarter than we are, they can come up with a reason why we should or should not vote for it. Once it's voted for, it goes into our bylaws. So this storage unit rule will go to the bylaws. Somebody from the office will take that new bylaw entry and take it over to Putnam County and record it. All of our bylaws are recorded, and they are law, according to this board. We are out of it after that. Then it goes into operations. And then when somebody gets caught going the wrong way on the lake, it goes to the security goes to the manager handles it, okay? Unless something unforeseen, just crazy happens, the board's not involved. After we go to the bylaws, the board is not involved. And we might have a discussion about it. And if something's wrong with the operation, the board has one thing that we have to do. If we have constant trouble with operations, we have the right to change that. And that's all we have a right to do. So if we don't like the way management is handling things, we go to management and tell them that we don't like what how they're handling it. And if it continues, then we go to the manager and say, we've found your replacement. And that's how the system works. Now, the system normally, from the audience, from the members, normally somebody either complains or brings an item to a committee. For instance, the Lake Committee might get some idea from somebody that is out here every summer and brings it to the Lake Committee. They talk about it, and they decide this warrants going to the board to change a rule. Again, rules are voted on twice, and that's the reason we do it. Other items are not necessarily voted on twice because the board has already agreed they want to back whatever it is we're talking about. It won't be a rule, or it won't be a bylaw, or it won't contain the amount of money over $1,000. Those things are voted on twice, unless there's an immediate reason why we need to vote on it today so it happens tomorrow. And then we vote twice. One, to disregard the two votes, and two, to get the thing either squashed or passed. I hope that helps people understand how everything works. Sometimes people come to the board and want us to change anything, and we just don't do it, okay? It has to go through a certain channel. Just like our presentation of agenda. This agenda is made up Wednesday before the board meeting. There's one person on the board that can change that agenda, and that's me. That's the president, okay? Now, Ken may call me and say, we need to have this changed, and I either agree or disagree, and then we put it on the agenda. Rick might call me with the same agenda change. It's up to me to change the agenda. So there's a system we use because we're all volunteers, and everybody at this table takes this seriously, and we're in at least three meetings a month. 3 meetings a month. Tonight, we're going to be in an executive meeting. We might be in there until 11 o'clock tonight. We take it seriously. It's not a game. And we try to make decisions for a safe, clean, viable, trusting community. And individuals may not think we do that. And we're open to your ideas, always. We don't have, So anyway, that's the way it works. I'd just like to put that out there because as of late, we've had a lot of discussions about this. Next item on our agenda, under new business, Lake Committee rule change.
Okay, you have a copy in real size. Our last meeting, I gave you a 8.5 by 11 version of this. The contents are the exact same, but the Lake Committee has made a few adjustments, and I call them that because there are no substantial rule changes. All of the changes this year are essentially clarifications. Okay. Language changes to make sure, or to avoid, any misunderstandings, but no specific new rules. So they're listed in red, and what I'm looking for from the board tonight is a vote to accept these.
Has everybody had a chance to look through this? We have discussion?
I move to accept them as presented in this form.
Are they gonna stay red when they get reissued to the community?
Yes, although when we print booklets, and I do many of those from HLCS for the POA, we print them in black and white because cost. But these will be published on the POA website, and they will actually show the red text of the changes that are made.
We have a motion?
Yeah, I moved to accept these changes as presented.
If there's no discussion, I'll second.
All those in favor? Okay, unanimous. Moving on to the 2024 budget. We have had one of those, this month it was 4 meetings, by the way. We had a budget meeting. And we do this every year, and a budget is created through the manager's department because he knows every dollar that's on this budget, and he forecasts for the next year, and we do a lot of challenging, we do a lot of research, we do a lot of helpful suggestions about the money, so on and so forth, that we're gonna spend next year. This budget has been, I believe, finalized by the board. I think we left that meeting in unanimous agreement that the budget that will be presented in February is unanimously presented by this board. So I will take a motion to accept this budget.
Motion to accept the budget as presented last
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Any
Second.
discussion before the second?
No, I second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
First vote on the budget passes. Now, as far as the budget goes, as far as the community is concerned, you will get the budget in your package when you get your assessments at the end of the year. If you feel you need to see the budget before then, you're welcome to come to the office and they'll make you a copy for, 20 cents a page or something like that?
After the second.
After the second vote, after it's passed.
I usually put a short budget together and give it to HLCS, and then they post it.
And you'll
in the
publish it.
newsletter.
Okay, there you go. So you'll see the budget after the December meeting. Next item on the agenda, members voting issue letter. Okay, the last two board meetings, we alluded to a quest that we have been on for a couple of years now. As everybody in the community knows, there have been unsuccessful voting desires through the board over the last 6 years. And each time that was gone out, we have never been able to get the votes, whether to decline or approve anything we've ever tried to decide on in this community. And we have gone through town hall meetings, emails, talked about it a lot, had people in the community talk to all of our board members a lot. We've tried to explain ourselves. We've tried to be transparent about everything we've tried to do in the community. And we've always failed. Now, through those town hall meetings and through the emails and through the response of the emails and through the response of the town hall meetings, we run around 75% agreement on what the board brought to these situations. But we still can't get a vote to approve it. So the board has to decide whether they're going to move ahead without the community vote, or they're going to table any particular situation we come up with. And those are the decisions we have to make. So in the meantime, we have talked to our attorneys, and we have done a lot of research, and we've had a lot of meetings. And for the past 2 years, the board members have unanimously approved the concept of submitting a plan, of submitting a complaint to the Putnam County Courts in reference to our 50-year-old covenants, which is guidance for our community moving forward from 2023. The objective of this complaint is to empower the community, to empower every lot owner the right for these members to successfully vote on and decide any important issues that the board moves to the community. Following our formal vote tonight, we will send out a letter to the community members explaining our intentions. Everyone in the community will receive this letter. During the next few weeks, we encourage our property owners to seek out board members and office staff with any questions concerning this letter. Once this complaint is filed with the clerk, it will become a matter of public record. In the meantime, you may reach out to the office, and they will provide us with your information so we as board members can reach out to you and address your questions. I know this sounds like a very tedious process, and believe me, I'm not happy about it, but we want to be available for questions. And we want to disclose the fact that this is to empower the community. We have heard ever since I've lived out here that the board can do whatever they want. Well, we want to change that. We want you as a community to decide on major issues. We are going to present the boards, present the courts with a structured idea of a committee that will receive, just like the Lake Committee receives things from the community, we're going to have a committee that receives things from the community, that talks about it, thinks whether it's important enough, and they bring it to the board. If the board thinks it's important enough, then we turn around and we send it back to you in a referendum so you can vote on it. In order to do that, it's a waste of time under the situation we are covenanted on as we speak. It's a 50-year covenant that we are trying to govern by, and it's almost impossible. Now, we will not be responding, after this letter goes out, we as a board will not be responding to any issues voiced on Facebook. We can't do that. We cannot get into a Facebook war about important issues. Call the office, tell them you want to speak to Nina, they'll give Nina your number, Nina will call you back. You want to speak to me, they'll give me your number, I'll call you back. Maybe someone in the office has your questions answered. Maybe they have the answer for you. If you wish, you may save your questions for the December 10th board meeting. At that meeting, we will all be there, obviously. Our attorney will be there also. And at that meeting, any questions you might have about this, we will respond. And we will discuss that as kind of a mini town hall meeting. With that said, there are two things I'd like the board to vote on tonight, and I will ask for a motion. First, I have signed the letter that is going to the community members. The envelopes have been stuffed. My signature is on there. I am asking you to make a motion that you as board members unanimously are represented by my signature as board members on the letter going to the community.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Second vote I would like to make is formally from the board, and I will say to the community, we have talked about this for a long time, and we have tried our best to get the best language to our attorneys. Our attorney is very HOA savvy. He looks at our board right now as a council. He thinks we shouldn't even be called a board anymore because of the size of our community and the responsibilities we have as a board. And he worked very hard on this, and we're hoping it's going to be just an issue that's going to better the community for voting situations. So I'm asking the board to make a motion that we send out this letter to the community.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay. All right, moving forward. We go to the open forum. Wow, I've never lived this way. Okay, Tom.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, Tom Novak, 25 Mill Springs. I have two items that I'd like to address, possibly three. But the first item, there will be a graphic displayed, has to do with the blood drive. I think it's a great opportunity for everyone in the community to start out 2024 by donating blood. And the graphic will show you that the blood drive will be held January 9th, which is a Tuesday, from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the lower level here of the clubhouse. There are two ways that you could pre-register to give blood. One is by going to the website, which should be on the graphics. It is www.redcrossblood, all one word, .org. Or you could call Marianne Novak. Her phone number should be on the graphics. It is 765-386-2077. And as I suggested last, or 2 meetings ago, or last meeting, if you do decide to give blood, it would save you time by pre-registering on the day. So on the day of the blood drive, if you go to that website that I just announced, you could take a pre-questionnaire, and that will give you what's called a rapid pass. So again, let me just repeat, the blood drive will be on January 9th, which is a Tuesday, 2024, which will be next year, between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Something else?
Yes, sir. There should be another graphics, and this one revolves around what was mentioned earlier, the photos with Santa. The Garden Club will be collecting mittens, and mittens can be donated either the day of, which happens again to be December 9th, between 12:30 and 4 p.m. Those mittens will be used to decorate the beautiful tree that the Garden Club donated. And please, on your way out, take a look at it. It is lit. And those mittens will be placed on the tree as a display, and then they will be taken down and given to the Beyond Homeless. Again, the date of the event, which coincides with taking pictures with Santa, the Garden Club's event will be December 9th between 12:30 and 4 p.m. Any child can come, they could donate a set of mittens, and then they will go out and they will hang the mittens on the tree. Now, if for some reason people in the audience can't make it, starting on November 27th, this basket will be displayed in the clubhouse lobby. Anybody who happens to go out and do their Christmas shopping or Black Friday shopping and they can't make the December 9th, what they could do is between November 27th and December 8th, they could drop off their mittens to this basket, which will be in the clubhouse lobby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I will,
Rich Balls, Jefferson Valley 259. I want to ask you, talk about the covenants. Are you talking about changing the covenants, rewriting the whole thing? No. No, okay, all right.
we are submitting a complaint to the courts that we are not happy with the 50-year-old covenants. We are submitting to the courts points on that covenants that we believe are antiquated and are unhelpful for our governing this community. The court will have to come back after receiving that complaint and ask us specifically the things that we want. We want to change the voting at Heritage Lake. How we're going to change that is going to be stipulated once the court recognizes our complaint.
Okay, so we won't know what it's.
Everything is public once this complaint is put in. If there's any For instance, if the court asks us for information specifically in one particular area of the complaint, and we give them those specifics, that will become public at that time. So it can be followed on a daily basis, it can be followed anytime, it's all public once it hits the clerk's office.
So, but December 10th, the lawyer will be here, so we can talk to him.
Yes.
And he'll have those answers in probably.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'll take a motion.
Move we adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor? Okay, we have a executive meeting, right? Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yes, sir.